Hey guys, Jessica here. Gonna do the Dark Desire overview real quick. We'll be starting that book this week, and it's gonna be the second book in the Dark series by Christine Feehan. The stranger silently summoned her from across the continents, across the seas, whispering of eternal torment, of endless hunger, of dark, dangerous desires. And somehow, American surgeon Shea O'Halloran could feel his anguish, sense his haunting aloneness. Drawn to the far Carpathian mountains, Shea found a ravaged, raging man, a being like no other, and she trembled, for in his burning eyes she recognized the beloved stranger who'd already become part of her. But was she to be his healer or his prey? Now, this book can be a little bit darker in the first chapter, and Christine has put in the book a letter for her readers. I'm going to read that for you now. Dark Desire was first titled Dark Madness. I think the original title described the way I felt when I wrote this particular book. I had just finished writing Dark Prince and was absolutely certain the character Grigori would leap forward and insist on a story. I was ready and eager to write his adventures. I knew the story would be action-packed and I was looking forward to it. Instead, Grigori became very still and silent, and Jacques pushed forward. I definitely did not want to write this book. He wasn't anything like the hero I envisioned. No matter how hard I tried to make the book Grigori's, Jacques insisted it was his story. I finally gave in and listened, and was totally shocked at what Jacques was telling me. He wanted me to write a story about a hero who was nearly insane. I began the arduous task of writing a first chapter. I've been writing since I was a child, and the first chapter of any book is what gets me started. If the chapter isn't right, the book refuses to unfold. I drafted the first chapter over and over, from every point of view imaginable. Nothing worked. I went to New Orleans with a friend, still struggling to write the first chapter, but no matter how hard I tried to tell the story, Jacques was not a sympathetic hero. He was crazy, and everything he did was just awful. I doubted I could redeem him. I was riding the ferry to Algiers, and all of a sudden the story came to me. There I was, no computer and no notebook. Suddenly, I knew I had to describe what happened to Jacques, to make me and my readers feel what he felt, live his agony, feel the slow deprivation of all sustenance, of all hope, until there was only a will honed in torment. Once I felt what Jacques did and could see him so vividly, buried alive with no hope left, his mind slowly unraveling, I knew I was on the right track. I dreamed of Jacques day and night. He was a character who gripped me and wouldn't let go. Once I was engaged emotionally with him, the story poured out so fast I was astonished. I'd written about 40 first chapters over several months. The rest of the book took just weeks. I ended up loving Jacques and didn't want the book to end. His story was exciting, emotional, and very unexpected. The best kind for me to write. Part of my enjoyment in writing is the surprise of the twists and turns I'm never expecting. When I received a call telling me my editor wanted to buy the book, there was a part of me that didn't want to let the story go. Jacques had already been through too much. You have to remember when I sold the first book, Dark Prince, houses weren't publishing paranormals like they are now. Dorchester took a huge chance on the idea that readers would embrace crossover stories and ones with vampires in them. They wanted to make certain that my readers would know Jacques' story was a romance that they could enjoy in the midst of the insanity and darkness surrounding his character. My editor asked me to change the title, which was fine, but then she asked me to change the first chapter, which wasn't. I knew the book would never work without the first very controversial chapter. Fortunately, I had an editor willing to listen to my reasons, and the book was published in its original format. To this day, when I pick up Dark Desire and read Jacques' story, I immediately emotionally engaged. I hope that you will feel the same attachment to these characters and feel the devotion and love they have for one another as they try to bring Jacques back from the very brink of insanity. So this one is a wonderful book. Like I said, the first chapter is quite long, and it's pretty intense with torture and agony. But once you get past that part, it's beautiful and sweet. But anyways, next week we'll do the first chapter reviews for 1 through 5. I hope you guys enjoy the book as much as we do.